Aaron's rod that budded. Numbers chapter 17, verses 2 through 5. Speak to the children of Israel, and take of every one of them a rod according to the house of their fathers, and of all their princes according to the house of their fathers, 12 rods. Write there every man's name upon his rod, and you shall write Aaron's name upon the rod of Levi. For one rod shall be for the head of the house of their fathers, and you shall lay them up in the tabernacle of the congregation before the testimony, where I will meet with you. And it shall come to pass that the man's rod whom I shall choose shall blossom, and I will make to cease from me the murmurings of the children of Israel, whereby they murmur against you. Numbers chapter 17, verses 7 through 10. And Moses laid up the rods before the Lord in the tabernacle of witness. And it came to pass that on the morrow Moses went into the tabernacle of witness, and behold, the rod of Aaron for the house of Levi was budded, and brought forth buds, and bloomed, and blossomed, and yielded almonds. And Moses brought out all the rods before the Lord unto all the children of Israel. And they looked, and took every man his rod. And the Lord said unto Moses, Bring Aaron's rod again before the testimony, to be kept for a token against the rebels. And you shall quite take away their murmurings from me, that they die not. So a rod, right? Isaiah chapter 11, verses 1 through 5. And there shall come a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. And the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and of the fear of the Lord, and shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of the Lord. And he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears. But with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. And righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins, and faithfulness the girdle of his reins. Jeremiah chapter 23, verses 5 through 6. Behold, the days come, says the Lord, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch. And a king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. In his days Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely. And this is the name whereby he shall be called, the Lord our righteousness. Zechariah chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. I will bring forth my servant, the branch. For behold, the stone, which we just went over the stone in the last video about the golden manna, the golden pot of manna. Okay, for behold, the stone I have laid before Joshua. Upon one stone shall be 7 eyes. Behold, I will engrave the graving thereof, says the Lord of hosts, and I will remove the iniquity of that land in one day. In that day, says the Lord of hosts, shall you call every man and his neighbor under the vine and under the fig tree. So the 7 eyes on that stone were the 7 spirits that we just went over in Isaiah chapter 11, verses 1 through 2, and you can find that again in the book of Revelation as well. Zechariah chapter 6, verses 12 through 13. Revelation chapter 5, verses 5 through 6. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, has prevailed to open the book, and to loose the 7 seals thereof. And I beheld, and look, in the middle of the throne, and of the 4 beasts, and in the middle of the elders stood a lamb, as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God, sent forth into all the earth. So we see here yet again, the rod of Aaron, budding, was prophetic for Jesus, and we also see that throughout his word he made that clear through the use of the words like rod and branch, in hopes that the people of that time would have been familiar with the story of Aaron from Exodus. So we see here God showing us that Jesus was sent and he was chosen, just as he said he was, and he was the choice rod that budded, blossomed, and put forth fruit. So just as Aaron was chosen to be the priest for God, let's go to Leviticus again for a second, chapter 24, verses 8 through 9, how the bread was taken from the children of Israel and given to Aaron for an everlasting covenant. And as we went over in the video about the showbread and how Jesus is the bread of life, so we see this again. The bread was given to Jesus. So with that being said, with Jesus being the rod that budded. Let us read Jeremiah 11, verses 19. I was like a lamb led to the slaughter. I had no idea that they were planning to kill me. Let's destroy this tree and all his fruit. Let us cut him off from the land of the living, that his name be remembered no more. And this is almost completely identical to Isaiah 53.